Hello, YouTube. Welcome in, welcome in. We're back with the Remembrancer, and we are going to look into the Primarch of the White Scars, Jaghatai Khan, with the Remembrancer. So yeah, sit back, relax. It looks like a bit of a short one. Jaghatai is, from what I'm noticing, not one of the most well-known of all the Primarchs, but I don't know. He won me over with his need for speed, and I'm kind of one of those guys. I really like the to go zoom. Anyway, let's get to watching.
Warriors of Chogoris, brothers of the great tribe,
Yeah.
the star hunt calls you. Do you not hear it?
No.
The battle's red edge is your home.
Okay.
The respect of your kinsman your half.
Right.
Plunge into the enemy's breast like a blade.
Gross.
Cut out his heart, and you will
Yummy.
know fulfillment. The Emperor has given us strength.
Yeah.
In return, we give him victory.
Hell yeah. Yeah.
Of all the sons of the Emperor, a select few have always been viewed with disdain by their brothers. For the Primarchs are the greatest living beings of the Imperium, with exception to the Emperor himself, and their influence across the galaxy molds the Imperium's children to follow. While some are hewn into statues proclaiming their virtues on Imperial worlds, and the fallen Primarchs are worshipped by fell demons, there is one who has always been regarded with suspicion and never truly understood by either loyalist or traitor.
Oh.
Seen by most as a barbarian, this Primarch would in his solitude prove to be well-cultured and intelligent, but keep his intentions and traits closely guarded to prevent them from being exploited. Jaghatai Khan, Primarch of the 5th Legion and Great Khan of Chogoris. During the scattering of the Primarchs, Jaghatai would land on...
So, basically, Jaghatai just kind of kept to himself, did his own thing. He was looked at as kind of like savage or untrustworthy or unknown, pretty much, because he just really kept to himself in comparison to the rest of the others. Didn't have, like, the craziest charisma. I mean, he did. Obviously, he's a leader. But, like, in comparison to, like, Lionel Johnson or Horace or Fulgrim or sorry, Rabute. How did I forget the name Rabute? But yeah, no, in comparison to those guys, like, yeah, he doesn't hold a candle to them. So he just kind of like does his own little thing and is viewed as like a barbarian. When you have people like Lionel Johnson, who is basically a barbarian in a tux. Okay.
the planet of Chogoris, a fertile world filled with vast plains of grass, snow-topped mountains, and vast oceans.
That's pretty.
The planet was ruled by the Palatine, a feudal aristocrat whom led his vast armies to dominate the planet.
Mhm.
However, there was a land to the west of the Palatine that he would leave wild, the Empty Quarter, a barren grassland with little in resources or value, inhabited by nomadic tribes whom fought amongst themselves for their ancestral lands. This is where Jaghatai would be found by a man by the name of Ong Khan.
You mean Attila the Hun?
Chieftain of the small tribe of the Talaskas. Seeing the child as a gift from the gods, Ong would see the fire in Jaghatai's eyes.
Yeah, you could definitely tell, like, so after the Skaven video I did, I made a bold claim that Skaven are not inherently that unique just to get Warhammer and all that. For one, yes, I understand. I said Warhammer. I realized that they are a Age of Sigmar specific race. Got a lot of comments correcting me on that. Warhammer is just the banner child for the entire thing, so it just what I kind of defaulted to saying. I apologize, but mostly that the idea of a evil faction of mutated rat people is a original idea was not exactly, well, that an original idea, but people were reminding me it's not so much that they're an original idea in the sense of like, you know, rat people or something like that. It's more of like they didn't hijack anything from real life or already in lore. Like, case in point, Jaghatai Khan. He's definitely inspired by the Huns. Or we have Perturabo, who's very inspired by Rome. That sort of thing. Like, these guys are definitely inspired by actual nations of the human race. Granted, that makes sense because this is supposed to be like the apex of the human race at this point. So they're going to take the strongest nations and give them like a glow up in this universe because it's supposed to honor what was human, the achievements and the glories of what human civilization has been able to achieve.
The mark of a great warrior. Ong was hated by the other tribes of the Empty Quarter for his visions of a united tribe of the downtrodden people of the Empty Quarter. One day, the tribes would kill Jaghatai's adoptive father for his ideals. Even as a boy, Jaghatai was without match as a warrior amongst the men of the Talaska tribe.
I'm sorry, but this icon here just makes him look like he's trying to be a Power Ranger before Power Rangers existed. It looks goofy.
And he would gather his fellow tribesmen to seek vengeance against his father's killers. The Kurayed tribe tribesmen to seek vengeance against...
His horse has a lightning bolt on it. This isn't like unheard of for a horse to be able to actually have, by the way. A lot of horses tend to have these kinds of markings on them. It's just normally a white horse will not have this kind of a paint, and when they do, it's usually like when you have this kind of a paint, it's usually white on brown or black or something like that, and then it's like barely in the shape. This has obviously just been like, okay, we're going to paint a lightning bolt on your face now.
His father's killers. The Kurayed tribe would be slaughtered, not only the men, but the women and children as well.
Removed from the
Jaghatai would
census.
cleave the head from the tribe's chieftain and mount it to his sleeping tent. The slaughter would forge Jaghatai into a fiercely ruthless, yet loyal warrior.
Man, you're going to attract all the bugs doing that? That's silly. That's silly. That's all the bugs you're bringing in.
With his father's death avenged, Jaghatai would swear to unite the people of the Empty Quarter as one tribe and bring an end to its constant infighting. Fighting hundreds of battles for years, Jaghatai would assimilate the warring tribes into the fold, making military service mandatory for all who joined, while splitting the tribe's people amongst themselves to weed out blood feuds and differences within its people.
Makes sense.
10 years later, the Khan would travel to his winter settlement and be set upon by the Palatine's hunting bands, led by its emperor's son. Jaghatai would kill the men, leaving one mutilated rider to bring the Palatine emperor the severed head of his son. Enraged, the Palatine would gather a gigantic army to destroy the tribes of the Empty Quarter, but ultimately underestimate Jaghatai. His heavily armoured soldiers bested by the Khan's more mobile warriors and archers. The Palatine would retreat, leading to the tribe elders to confer the title.
It's really like they took direct pictures from Mongols and Attila the Hun and the barbarians from his crew and just threw power armor on them. It's kind of crazy. Also, every single scar or tattoo they might have, they're exaggerating into a very obvious lightning bolt shape.
Of the first Kagan, or Khan of Khans, to Jaghatai. As Jaghatai would continue his conquest, he would recruit soon-to-be legendary members of his future legion, including Kinja, Hasik, and Targatai Yesuge. Besieging the cities of the Palatine, the Kagan would give its inhabitants two choices: surrender or die. Jaghatai would eventually reach the palace of the Palatine. He would demand its emperor's head on a pike from the city, which its inhabitants...
What's up, Dink? I got you a new chair. Hope the fans pulls out a spear.
would willingly oblige. Jaghatai would adorn it on his tent, exactly as he had done.
Dude, you are attracting all the flies to your tent. Your tent has to stink. Oh my god, why would you do that?
To his father's killer 2 decades before. Within 2 years, Jaghatai had conquered Chogoris' largest empire in its history and ended all wars upon the planet's surface. 6 months later, the Emperor would arrive on Chogoris, along with the 16th Legion of Astartes, the Lunar Wolves, and their Primarch, Horus Lupercal.
Emperor, sir, yes, we might have found another Primarch, another missing Primarch. Oh, why do you think that? The entire planet has been conquered by this random, uh, adopted child that came out of absolutely nowhere about 2 years ago. That'll do it.
Jaghatai would instantly perceive the Emperor's might, and conclude that his dream of a united species amongst the stars would be possible, even if the Emperor would be at its helm, and not himself. Jaghatai would resign his position of master, and become a servant of the Emperor's will, dropping to one knee and swearing fealty to the Emperor and his Imperium. Considering that rejection of the Emperor's will would lead to his people's annihilation, and seeing the Lunar Wolves present, reasoned that these indomitable warriors would soon mirror his own, should he swear loyalty to the Imperium.
Yeah, that's
Jaghatai
fair.
would also hand over the shackles of mundanity that statesmanship required, and would revel in his duty to the Imperium of waging war and hunting the enemies of humanity.
Hey, son, would you like to come home and work for your dear old dad? My father died already. I've taken vengeance for his death. Yeah. No. That's fair. But I'm your bio dad. I'm your biological dad. You are the dad that wasn't there. He was the dad that stepped up, and I have already vengeanced him. Okay. You want to come work for me? But I am already king of my own people. Yeah. But you can be king of your own Marine division. Okay. And just go to war constantly. I'm listening. No paperwork. Done.
Soon he would be given command of his legion, then known as the Star Hunters. Jaghatai would overhaul his Terran-born son's tactics, implementing his Chogoran-learned strategies of speed and maneuverability to best his foes. As the Imperium was desperate for the fighting prowess of all Primarchs, Jaghatai would be sent straight into the maw of conflict, with the war against the Nephilim resulting in Jaghatai renaming his sons of the 5th Legion. The Legion would conduct a ritual at the empty quarter of Chogoris, known as the Blooding. 50,000 sons of the Khan would take up blades and cut a mark on the flesh of their faces, inflicting scars that would also herald their individual renaming as Sons of the White Scars. With further battles...
Okay, so that's why they had the lightning-shaped scars. They literally just branded themselves with them. I see. The good old scarification.
waged during the Ulanor crusade against the Orc hordes, Jaghatai would earn a reputation within the Imperium as a truly deadly warrior. Rogel Dawn and Rabute Gilliman would object to the Khan's swift induction into the theatre of war, believing the Primarch to lack true understanding of the Imperium's values and culture, leaving him ill-prepared to integrate into the wider Imperium. Though the Khan did have strong bonds with some of his brothers.
Yeah, we're not sure if he's a good fit here. Why? He literally came from a barbaric planet and just finished conquering that entire planet. Are you sure this is probably good? We are in a very, geopolitical, terrible situation with all these other species and everything like that. Yeah, but we're fighting wars, and we need soldiers, that know how to fight real good war. So, yeah, he's probably good. He's probably good to have.
Notably Horus Lupercal and Magnus the Red of the Thousand Suns. As the first Primarch to meet the Khan, Horus would revel in their shared exploits and respect for one another as warriors. Whilst Magnus was an outsider to his brothers just like the Khan, and shared a kinship for the pursuit of knowledge. It was therefore tragic that his most erstwhile brothers would one day be his enemies. With the beginning stages of the Horus Heresy, Horus would turn to Jaghatai for his allegiance. However, his loyalty to the Emperor was unbreakable, and the Khan would stay his hand.
Honestly, respect. Yes, they are your brothers, but they decide to step away, look at you, and invite you in because, they looked at you as a brother. They stepped away in order to throw all their people, all their history, everything away because of some petty arguments. Whereas Jaghatai is like, no, I'm a soldier. I'm part of this family. I am one of the commanders, just like you guys are. You guys are leaving. You guys are betraying us. I love you guys. You guys are my brothers. You guys are accepted me when nobody else would. However, I need to stick with, my beliefs and I need to stick with my actual people here. You guys should too. You're not going to? You'd rather put it in with the demons? Okay, have fun with that.
Jaghatai would not dive into the conflict, instead waiting patiently for information to be relayed to him. Even when being petitioned for aid by Leman Russ of the Space Wolves to combat the traitor forces of the Alpha Legion, the Khan would receive conflicting reports from several legions, but wisely not involve himself until he knew the truth of the events that had unfolded.
That is so much more respect. He literally didn't actually, like, step into the war efforts until he knew exactly what was going on. Not like hearsay, not like, this person, he said, she said bullshit. No, just straight up, this is what is 100% happening. This is what we need to be dealing with. This is what we need to focus on. And he was like, okay, cool. I got my facts. That's all I need.
Seeking
I
answers,
respect
the
that.
Khan would receive urgent orders from Rogel Dawn himself, requesting for the White Scars to immediately travel to Holy Terror to aid in its defense. The Alpha Legion would blockade his passage, presenting themselves neither as friend or foe. The Khan would assess their ruse, realizing their actions sought to sow doubt in his mind, keeping the White Scars immobile and neutered in the wider war that was waging. The Khan's fleet would confront the Alpha Legion blockade, which would result in the Alpha Legion firing on their vessels. The 20th Legion, renowned for their secrecy, would be bested by the Khan's cunning, and the White Scars would push past the blockade and travel into warp space, their destination unknown. The 5th Legion would find themselves at Prospero, its surface scorched to the consistency of burnt charcoal. On the surface, the Khan would speak with an apparition of his beloved brother, Magnus the Red. He explained that he had tried to warn the Emperor of Horus's betrayal, but was punished for his intervention. When pressed for his allegiance, Magnus would reveal his opposition to the Emperor, and the Khan would stand with the Imperium. Feeling a presence that had haunted him since Ulanor, the Khan would witness a spear of light pierce the sky of Prospero, summoning the Primarch of the Death Guard, Mortarion. The Primarch of the 14th Legion would implore the Khan to join Horus's traitor legions. Noticing the physical changes to his brother, the Khan would warn Mortarion of further changes that might befall his legion should...
Because it took him so long to actually, like, get involved with everything, by the time he was finally getting himself actually, like, fully involved, his brothers that had shifted sides are starting to show actual mutating signs of the corruption of the forces that they're dealing with. Meaning that he's getting a lot more information on, like, you guys are literally looking like a bunch of giant boils of green and puke. Why would I want to be a part of that? You guys are basically in bondage gear. You guys are basically bleeding for every orifice and screaming bloody murder. And you guys are just paranoid and weird. Stop it. This is probably the main reason why Jaghatai isn't as, like, well known or doesn't have as much, like, standing in Warhammer 40k in comparison to the others, is because he was such a neutral party throughout the entire thing. He played a back role. He wasn't jumping in on the Emperor's side. He wasn't jumping in on Horus's side. He was just sitting back and trying to figure out what the fuck was even going on. But because of that, he wasn't a major player. He wasn't doing big things, and thus he wasn't really fully part of the Horus Heresy, one of the most understood and one of the biggest stories from the 40k universe.
He continued to pursue his corrupted path. Mortarion would brush aside his warnings, and with the Khan's refusal to join the traitors, the two Primarchs would duel. Their battle would end in stalemate, with the cowardly Mortarion retreating before the battle could be finished. With his interactions between Magnus and Mortarion concluded, Jaghatai had finally deduced the extent of the traitorous intent of Horus Lupercal's rebellion. Resolving to aid his brother Primarch Rogel Dawn in the defense of Terra, the Khan would utilize the Dark Glass, a relic from the Dark Age of technology recently discovered by rogue traders. White Scar veteran Jaghatai Yusuge would sacrifice his life to power the relic and allow the Khan to travel to Terra. Meeting
wow.
with Rogel Dawn, Sanguinius, and Malcador the Sigillite, the assembled protectors of terror would devise their strategy to combat the incoming traitor forces. With the full force of chaos assaulting the Imperial Palace, Jaghatai Khan would aid the beleaguered defenders of the throne by recovering the vital Lionsgate spaceport from traitor forces, using his strategies of lightning-fast raid tactics, reclaiming the spaceport in a tremendous single strike. Jaghatai would also lead his 300-strong jetbike battalion to assault the Colossi Gate.
All these big, powerful guys in giant power armor mowing down enemies at Mach fuck in a motorcycle is just like such an interesting visual. Oh my god.
With support from Blood Angel Captain Ralderon and Adeptus Custodes commander Constantin Valdor. This retaliation would be halted by the arrival of the Death Guard, with the now fully chaos-corrupted Primarch Mortarion dueling Jaghatai once again.
Oh, that's not good.
Their rematch would prove that Jaghatai was no match in strength.
It's not a free stream without me just glazing the fucking art of this game. Oh my god, look at this thing. The freaking attention to detail, I'm not sure if that's smoke or webs coming off this, but it's dope. All the intricate details within the wings, the freaking folds in the wings and everything. This, god damn, is that like a chainsaw scythe made out of bone? My god. And it's pretty. Oh my god, it's disturbing, but it's so pretty. Oh my god.
For the now empowered Primarch of the 14th Legion. However, the Khan understood the psychology of his brother and baited him with barbed words and insults that played to his neuroticism, overextending Mortarion.
Hey, Death Dick! What? You stink! Oh, you little bastard.
He would reveal a weakness for the Khan to exploit. As Jaghatai was impaled by Mortarion's scythe, the Khan would behead his former brother, casting his soul into the warp. After recovering from his wounds, and with the Horus Heresy quashed under the heel of his Imperium.
Sir, you were impaled. I'll be fine. Give me some ibuprofen.
Jaghatai Khan would return to Chogoris. Finding that the Dark Eldar had made several raids on his homeworld, the Khan would hunt down the Drukhari, even pursuing his charge into the Webway to bring an end to their foul deeds. To which he has since not returned. Though it is said amongst the veterans of the White Scars that the Great Khan will one day return to his legion, in the time of their greatest need, and bring righteous fury to the enemies of his Imperium.
It is not enough to take from an enemy their life.
Right.
Rather, take from them also their places of safety.
Makes
their
sense.
Allies, their homes, and their loved ones. Crush all those in their care. Lay their chattels to waste, and then drive them alone and naked into the darkness. Take everything they have and burn it for the mere pleasure of seeing the ash crackle between your fingers.
Jesus.
And call it nothing more than a beginning.
Wait. Hey, what did that say? What did that say? Back it up. Let's see here. It is from Scars Black Library. Scars Black Library. Chris Wright. Okay. How much time we got? A little bit.
This has been a tale of the great Imperium of Man, read by the Remembrancer. Bare your teeth, sons of Fenris, for our next Vox transmission,
Yes.
wherein we will detail the deeds of the great wolf, Leman Russ.
Yeah. And that one is actually next on the list. He has jumped around a couple times here and there. Like, I think he was about to do like Lionel Johnson, then go all the way down to like halfway to the bottom or something like that, and then back up to Fulgrim. And it's been a lot of jumping back and forth, but this one is actually sequential. Good job. Is that it? I think that's it. Yes, that's it. Anyway, I love it. I like it. I really like his character. I like how he actually like handled the war. It sucks that it, had him play such a minute part in the entire storyline, so he doesn't get as much like fleshing out as the rest of his brothers, but at the same time, like, what we do have of him, really cool. I think after we do a bunch more of this, I might look deeper into a few of the other a few of the Primarchs. Like, probably want to do a deeper dive into Horus, probably a deeper dive into Ramude, probably a deeper dive into Jaghatai, because I like Jaghatai. We'll probably want to do a deeper dive into Liam and Russ, because I like wolf themes. But yeah, we'll have to see what happens. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you guys in the next one. Have a good one, and bye-bye. What? Hey, did you enjoy that? Was it funny? Well, come and check it out live over on twitch.tv/freeform_art. Make sure you put the _art. We have lots of fun there. We enjoy ourselves, and we want to see you over there. So come on and hang out. See you in a bit.